Sometimes a single touch can change everything. But what about a touch that could defy laws, completely flip theology on its head, and send a shockwave through an entire nation? That's the story we're getting into today. It's just incredible. So let's dive in. So it all kicks off with this desperate plea. You have a man who the text says is full of leprosy, and he comes up to Jesus. But listen to what he says, because this is key. He's not demanding anything. He's not commanding. No, this is all about faith and total submission. He has zero doubt that Jesus can heal him. The real question for him is, will he? Okay, so to really feel the weight of this moment, you've got to understand what leprosy actually meant back then. I mean, we think of it as a terrible disease, and it was, but it was so much more. It was basically a death sentence while you were still breathing. Under the law, if you had leprosy, you were declared unclean. And that wasn't just a label. It meant you were kicked out, banished from your home, your family, your town. You couldn't even go to the temple to worship. You were a ghost, completely isolated, a living, breathing symbol of sin and decay. Just think about that for a second. So when this guy, full of leprosy, starts walking toward Jesus, he is shattering every single rule in the book. Can you just picture it? The crowd would have been horrified, literally parting like the Red Sea, creating this empty bubble of fear around him. But his faith, his sheer desperation, was way stronger than any fear. And that's what's so incredible about his approach. He doesn't just walk up, he falls on his face. He's completely submitting to Jesus' authority. He gets it. He knows healing isn't something he's entitled to. It's a gift, and it's totally up to the one with the power to give it. What I find so fascinating here is that the man's faith in Jesus' power is absolute. He never for a second questions if Jesus can do it. The whole thing hangs on a different question, a question about Jesus' heart. It's about his compassion, his willingness. He's essentially asking, are you willing to care about someone like me? And the way Jesus responds, wow. It's truly one of the most revolutionary things he does in his entire ministry. This one moment is about to turn everything the law had ever said completely upside down. First, he does something deliberate, something shocking. In a world where everyone runs away from this man, Jesus closes the gap. He moves toward him. He does the one thing no one would ever do. He touches him. I mean, that single act just broke every purity law on the books. According to the rules, that should have made Jesus himself unclean. But something different happens here. Instead of Jesus getting defiled, his holiness is about to obliterate the disease. And then he speaks, and his words are the direct answer to the man's deepest question, I am willing. Just like that. And with his willingness confirmed, he gives the command, full of authority, be clean. And boom. Instantly, you could just imagine this wave of healing washing over the man, all the decay just vanishing, replaced by life. Okay, this right here is the theological bombshell. It's huge. See, the Levitical law was super clear. Clean touches unclean, the clean thing becomes unclean. End of story. But with Jesus, the opposite happens. His holiness is so powerful, so overwhelming, that it doesn't get contaminated. No, it flows out and purifies the contamination. He doesn't catch the uncleanness. The unclean man catches the cleanness. It's a total reversal. And believe it or not, the story isn't over. The physical healing, that was just Act 1. What Jesus says next reveals the real mic drop moment, the deeper purpose behind this whole thing. So to get this next part, you have to know about something called a messianic sign. Basically, Jewish theology held that there were certain miracles that only the Messiah himself could perform. They were like the ultimate, undeniable calling cards to prove that the promised one had finally shown up. And here is the kicker. This is a mind-blowing historical fact. Way back in Leviticus 14, the Old Testament law laid out this super detailed ritual for what a priest should do if a Jew is cleansed of leprosy. But here's the thing. According to tradition, that ritual had never, ever been performed. Not once. Why? Because it had never happened. A Jewish person had never been healed. So the cleansing of a leper, that became the ultimate messianic sign. So when Jesus tells the guy, hey, go show yourself to the priest, do the whole sacrifice thing Moses commanded, he's not just, ticking a box. This is a power move. He is sending an official, undeniable message right to the front door of the religious authorities. He's forcing their own system, using their own rules, to put an official stamp on the fact that a messianic sign has just happened right under their noses. And this all builds to one final beautiful point. The way the story ends with this incredible symbolic reversal, it just perfectly captures the heart of Jesus' entire mission. Just look at this switch. It's perfect. Before, the man with leprosy is the outcast. He's the one stuck in lonely, isolated places, while Jesus is welcomed everywhere. But after the healing, after the man can't help but tell everyone, the roles flip. The man is now welcomed back into the community, and it's Jesus who has to stay out in the lonely places. This isn't just a coincidence, it's a living parable. Jesus is symbolically taking the man's place. He takes on his isolation, his uncleanness, so that the man can be made whole and welcomed back home. It's a perfect foreshadowing of his ultimate mission, right? To bear our uncleanness, our sin, so that we can be made clean. And so, at the end of the day, we're left with this thought. What we just saw wasn't just about skin and sores. It was the reversal of a living death. Socially, spiritually, all of it. It was a loud and clear announcement that the one who could make the unclean clean was finally here. And that just has to make you think, right? If one touch filled with compassion could reverse all of that, what does it mean for the parts of our own lives that feel broken or isolated or, well, unclean?